students, from ratio, proportion and unitary method, our ratio part is complete. Okay. So let us now move on to the next part, that is proportion. So we will learn what is a proportion. Okay. So whenever we have two ratios, we compare them. Okay. So in that case, we put a proportionate sign in between. So ratio sign was like this. Suppose 5:9. Proportionate sign is just like double ratio. Total 4 signs. Okay. So when do we use proportion? Suppose there is a mixture. It contains of water and milk. Okay. So in one mixture, mixture A. Suppose you have mixture A and you have mixture B. So in mixture A, we have certain amount of water. Suppose this is water and this is milk. Okay. So in this mixture, if this is water and this is milk, so we have certain amount of water present and certain amount of milk present in the mixture. Now, if in this mixture we have water in this way and milk in this way, so this is our water and this is our milk. Now, if you just look into the two diagrams properly, you will see that in this case, milk and water is much more than in this case, right? But you have to remember that here water, if you have certain amount of water and certain amount of milk, suppose the milk and water ratio is something like 3:2. Okay, in this case mixture A, then in mixture B, whatever the ratio is, that ratio should be equivalent ratio of 3:2. That means what? If I now, okay, so let us take 3:2 for this one, okay, because this is the ratio having less amount of water and milk, right? And here we have more amount. So if I multiply 3/2 with 2, both the numbers with 2, what we will get? We will get 6/4. So suppose in this mixture we have milk and water as 6:4 and in this mixture we have 3:2. In this case we can see that both of them are equivalent ratio. So in such sums we represent them with a proportionate sign like this, and it can be also written as like this. So whatever ratio you are writing at first doesn't matter, but you should have the two ratios side by side in this manner and a proportional sign in between. Now in case of proportional sign, we have total 1, 2, 3, 4. Always we have total 4 terms, right? The first term and the last term, they are called extremes. Okay? And the two terms in middle, they are called means. So whenever we are having total, suppose we have 3 numbers. Suppose 3:2 something. We don't know this something, and we have 6:4. So we have one missing number, isn't it? So we can replace this missing number with x. We can take it as x. In this case, you have to multiply these two numbers, two extremes and two means. So if you multiply the two extremes, 3 into 4 should be 12, and the two means, that means the two numbers in between, this multiplication will give the same result as the multiplication in extremes. So we can say that x is equals to 12 divided by 6. That means x is 2. So this is the answer we are getting from here. So the multiplication of two extremes should be equal to the multiplication of two means. So this is the concept for proportion. Now we have another concept, that is continued proportion. So what is a continued proportion? Suppose you are given that A, B and C are in continued proportion. I am writing in short form. So if it is given, in this case you have to understand that this number in between will repeat 2 times. How it will repeat? It will be written as A This is the continued proportion. So in continued proportion, you always have to remember there will be three numbers given, and the second number will repeat two times like this, and in between you will get the proportionate sign. Okay. Now let us move on to exercise 10b. So see, sum number 1 and sum number 2, they both are almost same. Okay. Sum number 1 is given in the comma form. Suppose I take sum number 1, number 5. So it is given as 32, 48, 70, 210. Right? In this comma form it is given, and sum number 2 it is given in proportionate form in this way. Okay. So in this case also you have to do the same thing. Okay, so let me explain sum number 1 first. So in comma form it is given because we don't know whether they are in proportion. So before knowing, we cannot write them in proportionate form. So it says determine if the following numbers are in proportion. Okay, so how we will see that? We can write multiplying the first and the fourth term. Right? So that means we are multiplying the extremes, the first term and the last term. So multiplying, how much we will get? We will get 32 multiplied with 210. So that means what? If I multiply 21 and 32, it will give us 672. So 32 and 210 gives us 6720. This is the first two terms, extremes. So now you can write multiplying second and third term. How much we will get? We have to multiply 48 with 70. So simply 48 and 7. So 48 with 7 gives us 7, 8, 56, 7 for 28, 33. So we are getting, with 70 we are getting 3360. So are they equal? No. So in this case you can write therefore they are not in proportion. And if the multiplication gives us the same result, then we will write therefore they are in proportion. Now next, sum number 2. Suppose I take number 1. The first term we have 60 is to 105, proportionate to 84 is to 147. Now this is given in the proportionate form. Why? Because the question is verify the following. Verify means what? This is already true, you have to prove it, right? So in order to prove it, you will first multiply the first term with the last term. You will get something. Also you have to multiply the second term and the third term. So you will get the same result in all the sums for sum number 2. So then you will write that hence it is verified that they are in proportion. Okay. So now let us move on to sum number 3. Sum number 3 I am taking number 2. We have 27 is to x, proportionate to 63 is to 84. So this is just like the sum I have done in proportion concept. I have explained this type of sum. So how will you do? You can write that multiplying. So in this case you have to multiply the first and the last term again. Instead of first and fourth term, you can also write multiplying the extremes. How much we are getting? 27 multiplied with 84. So 84 and 27 gives us 7, 4, 28. 7, 8, 56 plus 2, 58. 2, 4, 8, 2, 8, 16. So we are getting 2 to 6, 8. So this is our extremes. Now we can multiply the means. That is the second and the third term. So that is x multiplied with 63. But this is already in proportion, that is given in the sum. So we can write that multiplying the means, we will get the same result that we have got here. Okay, because it is already given in the question. find the value of x in each of the following proportions. So that means they are already in proportion. Okay. So x will be equals to 2268 divided by 60. Now, if you add all of these numbers, 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 6, 16, 16 plus 2 is 18. So that means you can divide this number with 9. So 9, 7, 63, and this number with 9 gives us 2, 9, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 4, 9, 5, 45, then carry 1, 18, 2, 9, 18. So we are getting 252. Now if I divide this with 7, this will give us 7 3 is 21, then 42, 7 6, 42. So therefore x is equals to 36. So this is our second term. Next we have sum number 4. It says write true or false in each of the following. So true or false means what? There are 4 terms given and it is written that they are in proportion because proportionate sign is given. Okay. So in this case you have to multiply the first and the last term and the second and the third term. So if you are getting the same result, in this case you can write that it is true because it is already given they are in proportion. But if you find that they are not in proportion, that means you are not getting the same result, then you have to say that it is false. So up to this I have discussed, so that will be your homework. The rest of the sums we will do on the next. Thank you.